Once upon a time, in a small and beautiful village, there stood a very big apple tree. This tree was special. It was tall, its leaves were thick and green, and every summer it produced the biggest, reddest, and sweetest apples in the whole village. However, this big apple tree grew exactly on the borderline between two houses. On the left side of the tree lived a cheerful 9-year-old boy named Sam. Sam loved to play outside, run in the grass, and look at the sky. On the right side of the tree lived an old man named Mr. Thomas. Mr. Thomas was a lonely man. He rarely smiled, he seldom talked to his neighbors, and he spent most of his days sitting alone on his front porch. Because the tree stood right in the middle, its long branches spread across both yards. Some branches hung over Sam's garden, and some branches hung over Mr. Thomas's garden. Every time autumn arrived, the apples grew heavy and began to fall from the branches. And that was when the trouble always started. Every morning, Sam would run out to the garden to look for fallen apples. At the exact same time, Mr. Thomas would walk out of his house with a wooden basket in his hand. "Hey, that apple fell on my side of the grass. It is my apple," Sam would shout, pointing at a big red apple on the ground. Mr. Thomas would frown and shake his head. "No, young boy, look at the branch above it. That branch comes from my side of the tree. Therefore, this apple belongs to me." They argued almost every day. If an apple fell right on the line, Sam would run as fast as he could to pick it up, while Mr. Thomas would walk quickly to grab it first. Sometimes, Sam got the apple and felt very happy. Sometimes, Mr. Thomas got the apple, and Sam felt very sad and angry. The big apple tree, which was supposed to bring joy, became a wall between them. They looked at each other with angry eyes. The village became a little less friendly because of their daily fights. One windy afternoon, a huge number of apples fell from the tree. There were too many apples on the ground. Sam came out and started picking them up. Mr. Thomas also came out and began gathering them into his basket. They did not speak to each other. The silence was cold and uncomfortable. Sam looked at his pile of apples. Then he looked at Mr. Thomas. The old man looked tired. His hands were shaking a little bit as he bent down to pick up the fruit. For the first time, Sam did not feel angry. He felt a little sorry for his lonely neighbor. Sam looked at the hundreds of apples around them. "Why are we fighting?" Sam thought to himself. "No one can eat this many apples alone." That evening, Sam sat at the kitchen table with his mother. The kitchen was filled with a delicious smell because his mother was baking a fresh apple pie. Sam watched his mother mix the flour, sugar, and sliced apples. Suddenly, a wonderful idea popped into his head. The next morning, the sun was bright and warm. Mr. Thomas walked out to his porch, expecting to see Sam running around to claim the fallen apples. But Sam was not running. Instead, Sam walked slowly toward the borderline, carrying a large white bowl, a bag of sugar, and a small rolling pin. Sam stopped near Mr. Thomas's porch. He took a deep breath, smiled warmly, and called out, "Good morning, Mr. Thomas." Mr. Thomas surprised. He blinked his eyes and looked down at the young boy. "Good morning," the old man replied carefully, his voice deep and rough. "Are you here to take the apples again?" "No, Mr. Thomas," Sam said, holding up the baking ingredients. "Look at the tree. We have too many apples this year. My mom taught me how to make a delicious apple pie. I think it is a good idea if we stop fighting and make a giant apple pie together." Mr. Thomas stared at Sam. He looked at the white bowl, then he looked at the big red apples on the grass. For a long time, he did not say anything. Sam began to feel nervous. He thought the old man would say no. But then, the corners of Mr. Thomas's mouth slowly turned upward. He smiled. It was a small smile, but it changed his whole face. "An apple pie, you say?" Mr. Thomas said, stepping down from his porch. "Well, I haven't eaten a homemade apple pie in 20 years. Let's do it." That afternoon, the yard became a very busy place. There was no more shouting or angry looks. Instead, there was teamwork. First, they needed more fresh apples. Mr. Thomas brought a long wooden ladder. He held the ladder tightly with his strong hands while Sam climbed up carefully. "Be careful, Sam. Hold on to the big branch," Mr. Thomas shouted, looking up. "I am safe, Mr. Thomas," Sam called back. Sam reached out his small hands and started picking the best apples from the top branches. He dropped them gently into the basket below, where Mr. Thomas caught them. After they gathered enough fruit, they sat together at a wooden table in the garden. They began the cooking process. Mr. Thomas used a small knife to peel the skin off the apples. He sliced the apples into thin, neat pieces. Sam's job was to wash the fruits in clean water and mix the dough in the large bowl. While they worked, they started to talk. Sam discovered that Mr. Thomas was not a mean man at all. He was just lonely because his family lived very far away in a big city. Mr. Thomas told Sam stories about his own childhood, about how he used to climb trees when he was a young boy. Sam listened carefully, laughing at the old man's jokes. The garden was no longer quiet. It was filled with the sounds of two people laughing, talking, and working together. Soon, the giant apple pie was ready to go into the oven. While it was baking, the most amazing aroma began to spread across the entire neighborhood. It smelled of sweet cinnamon, warm sugar, and fresh baked apples. When the pie came out of the oven, it was golden brown and perfect. It was much too big for just the two of them. "What should we do with the rest of the pie, Mr. Thomas?" Sam asked, wiping some flour off his cheek. Mr. Thomas looked at the houses around them. "A good thing becomes even better when you share it, Sam. Let's share it with the village." They cut the giant pie into many smaller pieces and placed them on paper plates. Together, the old man and the little boy walked down the street. They knocked on every door in the village. They gave a piece of pie to Mrs. Green, the old lady who lived alone across the street. She was so happy that tears came to her eyes. They gave a piece to the baker, to the school teacher, and to the children playing in the park. Everywhere they went, people smiled, said, "Thank you so much," and tasted the delicious treat. By the time the sun began to set, the big white bowl was empty. But Sam and Mr. Thomas's hearts were completely full. From that special day on, everything changed in the small village. The big apple tree was no longer a symbol of fighting or greed. It became a symbol of friendship. The borderline between the two houses seemed to disappear. Sam and Mr. Thomas did not build a fence. Instead, they placed a wooden bench under the tree. Every weekend, Mr. Thomas would sit on the bench, reading a book or enjoying the fresh air. Sam would come over after finishing his homework, bring some snacks, and they would talk about their week. Sometimes, other neighbors would stop by just to say hello or to leave a basket of oranges or flowers. The village became a much warmer and friendlier place to live. all because a little boy decided to share instead of fight, and an old man decided to open his heart. In our lives, we often build invisible walls between ourselves and others. We fight fiercely for what we think belongs to us. We argue over small things, a line on the ground, a piece of fruit, or who is right and who is wrong. We are often so busy protecting our own side that we forget to look at the person standing on the other side. But winning an argument does not make us happy. Standing alone with a big pile of apples will never fill our hearts. True happiness does not come from what we can keep for ourselves, but from what we are willing to give away. A single apple tree can be a source of daily anger, or it can be the reason an entire village smiles. The choice is always in our hands. We can choose to hold on to our anger, or we can choose to bake a pie and share it. Today, take a look around you. Is there someone near you who looks a bit lonely? Is there a small misunderstanding that you can fix with a smile? Do not wait for the other person to make the first move. Be like Sam. Take a deep breath, step across the borderline, and offer a sweet word. Because in the end, the world becomes a better place, not through great and grand actions, but through small, simple acts of kindness shared between neighbors.